All right, let's bring in Karl Rove, former White House Deputy Chief of Staff and a Fox News contributor. Okay, Karl's with us now. Karl, we just heard the White House reaction first up to the Mary Poppins of the Disinformation Board. I know you're up on this story. Were you able to hear the White House response to that and the information she provided?
Yeah, what in the heck is going on here? I mean, who made this decision? I mean, this is an important board. Its job is to help deal with misinformation being fed into America by foreign actors, both state and non-state actors. And they put in charge of it a political hack. This is a woman who attacked the Hunter Biden laptop as being a Trump campaign gambit, who promoted the Steele dossier, who drew attention, was live tweeting during the presidential debate in a way that she applauded the 50 national security officials who attacked the Hunter Biden laptop as being, Russian disinformation campaign. She's a person who says that the First Amendment unfortunately marginalizes communities of color. If you want to put somebody in charge of this, you better have somebody who is not known for being the Mary Poppins TikTok look-alike, but is actually a substantive, thoughtful person who can give the American people confidence when they speak out and say, this is an effort by a foreign actor, state or non-state, to undermine confidence in American institutions. This woman has no ability to do that. None at all.
She does have a lovely voice, though, Karl. I think we can all agree on that.
She does, and she does a good Mary Poppins imitation. I'm sure she was in a high school play and did terrific. What I worry about is this. This board is in charge of distributing money to help combat disinformation.
Yeah.
And Mayorkas has made it clear that the money is going to go to minority communities, especially Latinos, whom he thinks are particularly at risk for disinformation. Well, what is the political group that the Democrats are most worried about losing support this year in? It's Latinos. Yeah. So this whole thing stinks. And if the administration wants to do something about misinformation, they ought to replace this woman with somebody that the American people would have confidence in, because it's an important job.
I was going to use just my quip about her voice to pivot into your Wall Street Journal op-ed about the potential for disaster for the Democrats come November. You wrote, quote, how badly will Democrats lose the midterm elections? A long list of variables will determine if 2022 is more of a freeway pileup or Krakatoa. Which way does it look like it's leading now?
Well, I think it's somewhere between the hurricane and the Krakatoa. What I did is I actually have a whiteboard for you here on this.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise. What I did is I looked at the 9 sort of issues that might help the Democrats move up from where they are today. And I don't see any changes among, is there big legislation that's going to pass that'll be popular? Nah. Is there going to be a rally around the flag impact from Ukraine? Doesn't look like so far. Inflation going to get better? No. Economic growth stalled. Is it going to get revved up again? Doubt that it's going to be dispositive. The abortion issue is not going to work for the advantage of the Democrats, even if the Supreme Court acts. Young voters are disenchanted, and giving them a bailout on their student loans is not going to have a positive reaction like enough to turn around the election. Neither are the Democratic advantage on dollars. Neither is the quality of the Democrat messaging. They might have a chance on trying to make this, rather than a referendum on Biden, into a referendum on Donald Trump, but that requires a lot of effort on his part to help them along on it. So I don't see it getting better, and as a result, it's somewhere in between a Hurricane Cat 5 hurricane and Krakatoa.
Karl, your piece also, as you just mentioned as well, asked the question, will the economy be slowing or booming by the midterms? We know when it comes to politics and markets, there's still a long time in between. A lot could change. Interesting to hear Psaki just now addressing the risk of recession and whether or not this White House is really seriously addressing the high risk of recession for this country, saying that they look at a range of economic data. They were encouraged by some of the key factors they saw in that report yesterday. Markets are not buying it. As we just mentioned, the markets are sinking to their lows of the session, down significantly. I mean, this is wiping out a lot of savings for Americans. And here's the approval rating. The latest Real Clear Politics average, Karl, 41.4% approval for President Biden. He continues to sink to new lows in these polls.
Yeah, and look, they were right to point out some of the good news, but one of the big things that they're hanging on is that we had a 2.7, I think it was, % increase in consumer spending in the first quarter, but that's largely being driven by the amount of money that was pumped in by the American Rescue Plan and into people's pockets, and that money's running out. And so the idea that we're going to somehow see a dramatic increase in both economic growth and a dramatic decrease in inflation is, in my opinion, a false dream and a false hope on the part of the administration.
And, you know, if you look back at 1992 as any kind of model, people's opinions were already formed in that election early in that year, despite the fact the economy started to come back. Carl, as always, great to see you. Thank you.
And thanks for bringing the whiteboard, by the way.
You.
Yeah,
thanks,
love
Carl.
the whiteboard. Bring it next time, Tim.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.